I'm Cody from Game Life Balance US, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other geeky podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
This is it. The part of your week where you get to put your headphones on, relax, and listen to a bunch of geeks geek out about geeky things. They're passionate.
Did you know Magic Mike XXL is actually on the top 25 list of this year's best movie?
They're witty.
He loves him some Katy Perry because she kissed a girl and she liked it.
They're crazy.
I like Nickelback personally, but, I'm the fuddy-duddy who likes episode 1.
And sometimes I leave you wondering, what the f***?
I'm pretty sure that here we were starting the hashtag movement, bring back Slave Ferrell.
Gonna Geek Productions presents the official GonnaGeek.com show.
Hello and welcome to episode 160 of the official GonnaGeek.com show. My name is Stephen Jondrew, and with me today is Stargate Pioneer.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Labor Day. It's the end of summer, which means it's my favorite time of the year. It's fall. Yay! A lot of football, a lot of food, a lot of holidays, a lot of days off of work. So fall is great.
We also have with us the legendary Chris Ferrell.
I'm only a legend in my own mind.
And taking that if you have tuned in today for the French-Canadian sensation Jean-Sebastien, we will have to turn you elsewhere to get your taste of poutine. Jean-Sebastien is away this week. He is unfortunately not feeling that great. JS, we do hope that you are better soon, and you can bet that if you had shown up for this, if you were already not feeling well, that would have been a big mistake because you can guarantee that would have led to vomit.
Sometimes I lead to vomit with you guys, even though I'm not sick.
That's a great way to get people real excited for the show. Watch us and you'll vomit. Tonight on the GonnaGeek.com show.
Yeah, isn't that what we do here? No?
It's whatever you steer us to do, boss.
Oh no, we're screwed.
Exactly. That's my point.
Oh no.
Well, we were away last week, so if you were constantly checking your iTunes, refreshing, being like, hey, where is Steven? I have just been wanting my taste of Steven man meat for a while. Yes, you did. You were correct. We were missing.
Phrasing. Please tell me we're still doing this.
No, that's absolutely what I meant.
Oh.
Yeah, no, we were away last week. Unfortunately, I was on holidays. SP was off on business, and Chris just was taking a break away from me.
Pretty much.
I went away on business to take a break away from you.
That's true. That's fair. I completely support your decision 110%. But no, we are back this week and we have a full show. So let's get into it in a moment. We'll get to the news, but I want to remind everybody that we are indeed part of the Gonna Geek Network. And also on the network is a variety of geeky content. Now, you might be saying to yourself, hey, Steven, I know that you stream live to geeks.live every Monday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. I know that's exactly how you said it. But guess what? There is more than just the official GonnaGeek.com show streaming live there. So please do check out geeks.live. We have a variety of content, and let's just say that it's 7 days a week usually when Chris Ferrell does his Nerd Alert News live recording on Saturdays. So if we're not 7 days a week, it's pretty much Chris Ferrell's fault.
What are you talking about? I did a recording this morning, so we have 2 live shows on geeks.live today.
That's true. We did. Yes, you are a genius.
I know how to do math, and I know words. I know the best words, guys.
The best ones.
I heard you can rap pretty good too.
I'm a gangster rapper, man.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move into the news. Here we go. All right. right, so first up in the news, we're going to take a moment here to tell you a little bit about how the Note 7 sales have been on fire lately. Yeah, no, it's not the sales that are on fire. It's the Note 7s that are actually on fire. If you've missed this news and you own yourself a Samsung Galaxy Note 7, you probably want to get a Googling awful fast, because apparently a lot of the Note 7s are literally catching on fire. This all started a couple of weeks ago when somebody did end up posting, and they were out of US. I don't remember what country they were in, but they did post a video / clip of their Note 7 having a couple of fire issues. And then Samsung came out and they're like, oh, we think this is an isolated issue. It's probably isolated to this country. To which quickly a bunch of Americans said, yeah, I call BS because my Note 7's on fire. And they have issued a recall on the Note 7s. Now, apparently Samsung uses 2 manufacturers for the batteries in there, and it's only one of the batteries that's affected. But from what I read on the Samsung website, they're pretty much recalling all of them. I know all of the local stores around here don't have them on the shelves. They're working on getting a replacement out as soon as possible. There's a couple of options apparently available. You can check with your carrier for sure, but I've read that they've made an agreement so that people can trade them and scale down to the Galaxy S7 if they'd like and get the refund, or just wait. Definitely check that out if you own yourself a Galaxy Note 7, because the last thing that you want in your pants is fire or something like that.
It's not going to catch on fire in your pocket, but when it is plugged in and charging, it could explode and catch fire.
What if it is plugged in and charging in your pocket?
Yeah, the same people who are wanting to use the Apple earphones into the lightning while they're charging. The same people.
Well, no, because say you're on the go, say you're on the run, say you're traveling, whatever, say you're at a sports game, and you have one of those little battery packs, and you plug your phone in, and you're charging it in your pocket. So it could literally catch on fire in your pocket.
That is fair. I actually did not think of that. I will bow to the great SP right now. SP, you have for once been right.
The chances are low of this happening. I know because I actually covered this on Nerd Alert News this morning. There's only been 31 or 32 instances out of the 2.5 million phones that have been sold. That is not me saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying the chances are low. But if you have a Galaxy Note 7, 35, Suncast says in the chat room. So it has gone up since I had last looked up. Still, 35 out of 2.5 million is a low percentage. If you do have a Note 7, go and turn it in. Depending on who your carrier is, they have different plans for what they'll do to accommodate you. I think Sprint had the best one, which was they will basically give you a loaner phone of comparable value until Samsung releases new Note 7s. Pretty awesome deal right there. Now, what they mean is comparable. I'm going to laugh my butt off if that ends up being an iPhone 6S that they give you as a comparable phone to your Galaxy Note 7.
It's probably something fairly modern, or the opposite, where it's like the Note 5. My guess is it's one of those 2 options, but regardless, who cares? You can survive the 3 weeks without your Note 7 if it means not burning down your house. Who cares? Take what phone they have. It's small little time out of your life that you'll be using an iPhone or whatever they're giving you. Do it now. Don't take a chance. Because
unless you're
go ahead.
Unless you're a pyro and you want to catch something on fire.
Why would pirates want things on fire?
Pyro.
I know.
Like pyrotechnics. I'm
just joking. I know a thing or two about setting things on fire. I mean, what?
Jeez.
No, seriously though, I definitely encourage you if you have a Note 7. I know Chris is saying 35 out of millions is not a lot. You're right. It's a low percentage, but I don't care.
No, I'm not saying
more than one is not good enough.
Hold on. I'm not saying that to justify the issues going on here. Samsung absolutely did the right thing in recalling this phone. That is a good thing. The odds were you're probably not going to run into it, but you can't chance it. And in fact, if you listen to what I said on Nerd Alert News this morning, I said, if you own one, go and return it immediately. Do not take the risk of messing around with one of these phones potentially exploding on you.
All right, so we're all in agreement. Chris Ferrell is going to find on the black market one of the phones that are subject to being on fire and use it and film it. That's all what we're going to agree here, right?
Yes, okay, I'll take the fall for it.
I love this though. You know why I love this? The secret part in me really loves when a flagship phone, and this is like really one that this year has been like the phone of 2016. People were projecting it. I love it when it comes crashing down like this, as long as everybody is safe. I get a good kick out of it.
It's terrible timing for Samsung because remember, 2 days from now is the new Apple announcement, which will presumably be the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus. So if Apple gets a new phone out, say within 2 weeks after that, it's going to be a very interesting race because Samsung has to replace 2.5 million phones before they start selling phones after that. Very interesting.
If it's an Apple phone without an earbud dock into it connection, the 3.5 millimeter, I'm sorry, people are not going to be flocking to that thing. It's just not going to happen.
Okay, techies won't be, but let's be honest, Apple is notorious for basically just being like, oh, we're getting rid of this feature, and people grumble, and then they're like, Apple's a genius, why did we have this to begin with? Go back and look at it.
I agree.
Firewire, checking out the optical drives in laptops, stuff like that. They're always ahead of the curve on things like that. I still think removing the 3.5 millimeter jack is dumb, but there are going to be a lot of people like, oh my God, Apple's the greatest ever. I can't believe they did this. Wait for it.
Yeah, no, I agree with Chris. While I have an issue with it, I know you two both would have an issue with it. I genuinely still feel it's not going to be a big deal for the masses. So I think unfortunately, SP, I'm going to encourage you to take your podcaster hat off, and it's probably not going to be that big of a deal.
I am due for a new phone. And I'm not going to do it if it doesn't have the 3.5 millimeter jack. I'm just not. And I'll limp mine another 12 months or so until the next generation, which of course won't have the 3.5 millimeter jack. But I might be convinced to go back over to the Android side of things.
Yeah, welcome back to the light side.
Let's keep something in mind that Sergeant Muffin brings up in the chat room. He goes, we're still at full speculation on this. There's nothing official on what Apple is going to do. All the leaks have seemed to indicate the headphone jack is going away, but we have not seen for sure yet. There could be a version of it that comes out with the headphone jack still. Who knows? I don't.
That's true. Unless Chris is indeed one of the coveted Apple beta testers and he's under contract right now. Not saying that he isn't.
Yeah, because they would really pick me, a guy that has been a devout Android user since I dropped my iPhone 4S.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking. But yeah, moral of the story, iPhone 7 or whatever it is that it's going to be, probably not going to have a headphone jack, but that's okay because the Note 7 did have a headphone jack, and that's what caused it to catch on fire.
I can see the spin right now. If you didn't have that headphone jack, your cell phone wouldn't explode. Buy Apple immediately.
Exactly. All right. Well, SP today has a bit of interesting news, and he's going to tell you about how SpaceX is hot right now. Go ahead, SP.
That's right, because what they're doing is they're taking blocks of C4 and attaching them to the new iPhone 7s, and they're making them explode to cause business to go back over to the Android side of things. That's exactly what's going on. Listen, I was gone last week, so I really didn't have a chance to delve into all the news that I normally do on the space side. But there was a big news story that occurred. And matter of fact, it was so big that I may have actually heard it. And what we're talking about is a Falcon 9, not a reusable first stage, but a brand new Falcon 9 was going through its pre-launch checks on the pad Thursday morning, the 1st of September, and it exploded. And if JS was here, I'd go through this whole spiel about how it exploded just as a drone was flying by it. And that JS was actually controlling that drone. But since he's not here, that joke is lost, unless it was Chris. Chris, were you the one flying that drone?
I can neither confirm nor deny what I was flying at that time in that date.
I think it was Chris.
I'm going to stop you here for a moment. And I have seen at least one individual share a story about how they believe that it was the UFOs doing it. It was the aliens. And this person that shared this article, of course, the source had a bunch of shares, was a little surprising because they were a bit of a name in the world of podcastery, and we'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's an interesting theory that somebody decided to come up with, and hey, Chalk it up there with the false moon landing.
It's no theory that the drone was passing by the rocket literally as the rocket was exploding. So I could see how any sort of wild tale that you want to tell is actually going to take place. But it was on September 1st. Like I said before, it was a Thursday, which happened to be the same day that the Declaration of Independence was signed. So I think that the day of the week of the Declaration of Independence is no coincidence to the fact that this Falcon 9 rocket exploded. I think the two are linked just through aliens. There you go. Aliens.
Oh, man. The stuff that is coming out of this is just insanity to me. But hey, I guess if we're living in the Matrix, anything's possible.
All I can think, and this is all Sergeant Muffin's fault, is the alien dude on the History Channel. What is it? Ancient Aliens or whatever. Going, I don't know. Therefore, aliens, because he posted the meme in the chat room.
Yeah,
and I was
did.
trying not to giggle.
That's right. So let's go down the numbers on this one. SpaceX actually released a tweet on this, and it said at approximately 9:07 a.m. Eastern Time on the 1st of September, during a standard pre-launch static fire test for the Amos 6 mission. The Amos 6 was a satellite, which $15 million satellite was destroyed, by the way. There was an anomaly at SpaceX's Cape Canaveral Space Launch Complex 40 resulted in loss of the vehicle. Yeah, it was incinerated, folks. That much rocket fuel going up, there was nothing left. The anomaly originated around the upper stage oxygen tank and occurred during propellant loading of the vehicle. Per standard operating procedure, all personnel were clear of the pad and there were no injuries. We are continuing to review the data to identify the root cause. Additional updates will be provided as soon as they become available. Now, as of this date, on the 5th of September, no additional information about the investigation has been released by either NASA or SpaceX. So stay tuned for more information on that. Now, Elon Musk also released a Twitter statement, and he basically said, loss of Falcon vehicle today during propellant fill operation, originated around upper stage oxygen tank, cause still unknown, more soon. So they were very upfront about what was going on with their Falcon 9 vehicle. This was not landing, by the way. It had not launched yet. It was simply going through a pre-firing test on the pad. So, as I mentioned before, the satellite on board the rocket was completely destroyed. It was a $50 million Amos 6 satellite, which was going to do a lot of great communication. Facebook was going to have its Facebook to Africa, I believe, was going to take place through, or start to take place through the satellite. It was completely lost. The explosion was huge. Florida residents all over reported the explosion, and sliding glass doors came off their hinges. Some people had thought their house was hit by lightning, so who knows? Maybe it was Thor. Again, aliens! There you go.
Particle accelerator explosion, that's what it was.
Something like that. WFTV, which is a local news station, said on the air, quote, "This may have been the biggest explosion we have ever felt in Central Florida," unquote. Yeah, maybe, but there have been some pretty big explosions down in Cape Canaveral, so I don't know where this would rank, but I would guess that it would rank high, but maybe not the highest, but it was pretty big. So getting back to the satellite, which was owned by Spacecom, it is seeking those $50 million back from SpaceX or a free ride on their next launch. So we'll see what comes out of all of that. I don't know how the insurance works for the satellite on board the rocket that it's not actually being launched. So we'll see what kind of, Geico or
what, they don't just come to the door and cut them a check like they usually do?
No, it's $50 million. It's chump change in terms of big industry.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it really, $50 million is nothing.
Suncast had brought up in the chat room that Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook fame, was not very happy with the loss of the satellite that they're going to be leveraging. So you got the battle of the billionaires coming up, Zuckerberg v. Musk.
That's right. So there you go. There was the happenings down in Florida. Oh, by the way, there was a big hurricane, Hermine, which is still battling the eastern coast of the United States as of this day. So it was a eventful week down in Florida.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I kind of would have liked to have felt it. You said you alluded to the fact that you were there. Did you feel it?
Maybe.
It's a very ominous answer. Were you in cahoots with the aliens?
I will neither confirm nor deny that insinuation, but I will say if you are going to go down to Florida and eat lunch with aliens, don't get the sushi.
Well, thank you very much for that, SP, and we do hope that next time you make it a little less obvious that you were the one that caused it. Maybe lie a little bit where you are. That might be a smarter move.
Yeah, that would have been great if I knew this was going to happen. That would have been perfect. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll take that advice next time, Mr. El Presidente, and we will see where that leads. I'm sure there will be more conspiracies than that.
I love that the director of SNASA is claiming to know nothing about this.
I know. It is one time ever that he does not say that he's the director of SNASA. It is too much of a coincidence. It's got to have been him responsible. I don't want to talk about
SNASA or the Falcon 9 rocket or the drone. I want to talk about Hurricane Hermine. That's what I want to talk about.
Created by SNASA with their weather controlling satellite.
It's like the Ferengi homeworld, right?
Last week. There was an earthquake last week. Let's talk about that one.
Yeah.
That was SNASA crashing a rocket back into space. Or back from space, excuse me.
I agree with that statement, Chris. I agree with that 100%.
Can we just talk about some television show right now?
Sure. You know what song you better get used to hearing? Bill Nye, the Netflix guy.
Bill. You gotta add that part in. Don't forget that. So Steven's tossing it to me on this one. You guys might have heard that Bill Nye might be getting a new TV show. In fact, he is actually getting a new TV show. He's getting a talk show on Netflix. It's not the first time that Netflix has delved into the talk show idea of things. Like it or not, Chelsea Handler does have a weekly talk show on Netflix, so it has established a formula on Netflix for weekly new current content coming out. Well, it was confirmed to Variety that Bill Nye does have a show set to launch in spring 2017 entitled Bill Nye Saves the World. The goal of the show is to explore science and its impact on politics, society, and pop culture. I want to see this. I really do, guys. Here's a little bit more background on what's going to be happening. Each episode of the series will tackle a topic from a different scientific point of view, dispelling myths and refuting anti-scientific claims that may be espoused by politicians, religious leaders, or titans of industry. I must have this. I must have this immediately. It's very similar to when he went to go debate the creationists in the Creationist Museum. We're going to see stuff like that, where Bill Nye uses science to debunk a lot of things. And I like Bill Nye. I like his debates he's had with people. And I enjoyed Bill Nye the Science Guy when I was a kid. So bring it on. The problem is I got to wait until spring 2017. Oh, man.
I can't wait for his debate against Neil deGrasse Tyson that Pluto is an actual planet. That's going to be awesome.
Is he actually doing that, or are you just saying that to be an S disturber?
Well, he's got to do it because Pluto is a planet, and Neil deGrasse Tyson killed Pluto. So it's got to happen.
It very well could happen. Who knows? Bill Nye seemed very excited about it. He had a quote that he gave to Variety. He said, quote, "Today I'm excited to be working with Netflix on a new show where we'll discuss the complex scientific issues facing us today with episodes on vaccinations, genetically modified foods, and climate change. With the right science and good writing, we'll do our best to enlighten and entertain our audience, and perhaps we'll change the world a little." So at least we know 3 of the topics he's going to be discussing right now.
Yeah.
One of those was not Pluto, sadly.
If we back up a news point as well, we can probably speculate on a 4th, which is SP blowing up SpaceX.
Yeah. No, SP did not blow up SpaceX. The conspiracy theory is that aliens blew up SpaceX.
Right, when you are an alien. So There you go. I'm actually really excited about this. I honestly, I love Bill Nye. I've been a little let down with sort of him in the public presence over the last 5 years because it's sort of random where he pops up, and sometimes it just seems like he's he's just trying to cause a problem or he's just trying to get on his soapbox. I really like the idea of him having a show again and really just having a dedicated outlet for this. So I'm super excited to see the show, and you can bet I'll be watching it and applauding all of Bill's amazing debunking of some crazy world happenings.
And it is a Netflix original, so it will go to all countries at the same time. It follows the rest of the paths as Netflix originals.
That's awesome. That's great. We also had another Netflix update, which we thought we would put in here, which this just came out yesterday. It's very, very exciting. SP, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about this crazy bust build team happening?
Really? So you're going to go with this versus the news on Amazon Prime about the car show? I mean,
yes.
Come on.
Yes, we are, because we talked about Bill Nye and the Netflix show, so then that's naturally segues into the Mythbusters Build Team creating a new show, which is also on Netflix. So SP, please tell the audio and video listener / viewer about that.
So Mythbusters Build Team is reuniting for a Netflix show. And these are the guys, if I'm not mistaken, that were fired by the show in their last season because, I don't know, they couldn't afford them or whatever.
Money.
So yeah, they're bringing them back for Netflix. And this is great because whether it's Netflix or Amazon Prime, as I alluded to with the guys that were fired from Top Gear, or any of the Hulu stuff, or any of the streaming, like CBS, I can't believe I'm saying this, the CBS streaming show of Star Trek. So a lot of these shows that just can't make it on network TV or won't be projected to make it on network TV for a long time because they won't have the ratings. Let's look at Supergirl on CBS or whatever. They're finding these homes on these streaming platforms. Not everybody, let me clarify that. Not everything can be saved by bringing it through one of the streaming platforms. But in this particular case, Mythbusters is rebooting the Build Team as a reality show. And the secondary team will be returning to audiences with this show, and it will begin airing in December, which is generally a time where the TV shows start winding down, so you can have something to actually watch if you're home alone and crying into your eggnog or something like that.
Watching Home Alone.
You always watch Home Alone around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin, have you seen him lately?
Yeah.
He has transformed yet again into a slightly more respectable human being, but we'll see. He doesn't look like the homeless, drugged out dude anymore.
He actually did a fun little clip last Christmas where it was basically a continuation of his Home Alone character and where he was at now. Right. And then the guy that plays Marv, I think it was Marv, he ended up doing a little response video as well. It was really funny, but I digress here. The show is going to be called The White Rabbit Project. And what they're saying is that they're essentially going down the hole for some crazy myths that they never would have been able to touch on Mythbusters. So yes, it is not actually a Mythbusters franchise property. It is a individually, again, Netflix original show, but it is the same trio, and they've been tweeting for a while, this mystery project, and it's really exciting to finally see that, yes, they are doing another myth-busting type show, because, you know, they've been known to do other shows. They do pumpkin chunkin'? Is that what the name of the show is? I don't know. There's
Pumpkin Chuckin'.
Sure. The three of them have done that before. They've done some other projects together. I think Carrie and Tori did a couple of things. So definitely neat to see that it is down the realm of myth busting. I'm excited about this. Suncast in the chat says he's most excited about this show. And it's up there for me because towards the end, I think that Mythbusters got a little heavy on the just blow it up. And I feel like that's probably not the realm they're going to go here. They're probably going to explore it a little bit more. Plus, I never really enjoyed the split teams. And quite often, I found actually the build team to be more exciting than Jamie and Adam, especially in the later seasons. So really cool to see this. I'm super excited about this. Chris, I know you were a massive Mythbusters fan. You have your cardboard cutouts of the whole team. What do you think about this?
So the White Rabbit project, all I could start thinking of was The Matrix Follow the White Rabbit. And I don't know why I went down that path from the first movie, but it was stuck in my head. I'm pretty excited to see what happens with this, though. I mean, I enjoyed Mythbusters when it went off the air. I was bummed, but it kind of felt like it was right because they seemed to be stretching on some of the things they wanted to do. So I'm very curious to see what the build team's going to be doing for their myths. And at the same time, something that could be really cool that's also going on is, remember, Science Channel owns the rights and the broadcast rights to Mythbusters. There was a rumor going on about 6 months ago that they wanted to pursue a new Mythbusters series with a completely new group of Mythbusters they were going to find through some Finding the Next Mythbuster reality challenge they were going to do on there, where they gave people contests where they had to bust myths on there, and there would be a fan vote or whatnot or something, or judges to pick them to be the next Mythbusters going forward. So we could go from having no Mythbusters from last year to having two different versions of Mythbusters on the air, and I'm really excited to see where they go.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. And I don't know, Mythbusters got a little bit old, but I do think that the idea of it still has longevity. It's just, unfortunately, it was the same creative team and the same cast, so it did really end up kind of falling flat. And now we've got a new creative team, and potentially, if this is true about them rebooting Mythbusters itself, new hosts, I think that it would be a very interesting thing to see how it all evolves and works out. I'm excited nonetheless.
So is there going to be a crossover episode between the Mythbusters series and the Bill Nye series, debunking myths via science, maybe? Well, that would be kind of cool.
I think it would be cool.
That's what Mythbusters is already.
Yeah, I think that it's probably at some point could happen. I'm going to guess not the first year, only because I think that the filming times would be a little bit different, because they have been tweeting for a while, this mystery project. So they've obviously got quite a bit in the can. Something like Bill Nye's show, I think that it can be churned out a lot quicker. Obviously, with Mythbusters, there's a lot more prep involved. So I do think that they have to have a longer shooting process for the White Rabbit project.
Bill Nye's show is going to be more focused on timelier things. I think of it almost like a science-based version of John Oliver's Last Week Tonight. That's my guess of what it's going to be, is something strange comes out that causes a lot of what's the right word I'm looking for? Arguments or conversation to flow about it, and Bill Nye can then tackle that on his show. That's my guess of what it's going to be like, or maybe that's just wishful thinking. I don't know.
Could be. You are a wishful individual.
I'm a positive person. Power of positive thinking, my friends.
Today, I'm really excited because we get to revitalize the SP's Space Symposium. This has been going on for a while. It goes all the way back to GonnaGeek.com show number 124 when we started looking at the Hubble. So since then, we've gone through some visual space telescopes, we've looked at some infrared telescopes, and we've transitioned to X-ray telescopes. Now, last time, back in episode 155, we talked about the Jondrew X-ray Observatory. It was one of the NASA's 4 great observatories. This time we're going to be talking about the RXTE, the Romeo X-ray Tango Echo, or also known as Rossi X-Ray Timing Explorer mission. Now, the mission of this satellite was to observe the time variation of astronomical X-ray sources, which doesn't sound like much, but wait until you hear what it really is. The actual satellite was named after a Italian experimental physicist by the name of Bruno Rossi. Now, Bruno has had a ton of contributions to particle physics and cosmic rays. But guess what? Bruno also came over to the United States prior to World War II, and he played a pivotal role in the Manhattan Project, which means he helped make the Hulk. That is so cool. He helped make the Hulk. It's really cool, guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the other things that he did is he developed X-ray observatory sort of instruments for the Explorer 10 space mission that detected magnetopause. magnetopause, and discovered Scorpius X1, which was the first extrasolar source of X-rays. So X-rays coming from outside of the solar system. Now let's go back to Rossi Space Telescope. It was launched on December 30th, 1995. It operated for 16 years and 6 days. This was phenomenal, especially for something that was launched in the 90s. It ceased operation on January 3rd, 2012. So it's been out of commission for about 4.5 years. Its launch mass was 7,100 pounds, which, if you're curious about how much that is, it's about the weight of my new car, which would be a 2017 GMC Sierra. Yep. That's how much. So we launched a GMC Sierra into orbit. That's pretty cool, right?
You mentioned GMC Sierra as much as you can on this show. I swear you're like trying to get them to give you one.
It is not a paid product placement. We do not get those on the GonnaGeek.com show.
No. Although we will gladly take them, because personally, I love me the GMC Sierra as well.
So does Sergeant Muffin in the chat room, and I would say I loved getting to drive a GMC Sierra. I drove it, and I felt like more of a man.
That's right. So
like
GMC,
a rock? Oh, wait, that's not the right one.
GMC Chevy, if you're listening, the hosts of the GonnaGeek.com show would love to have a 2017 GMC Sierra 4x4 Denali edition, which would be great, and we can negotiate color schemes. Would be cool.
I'll even make a deal. From now until the end of 2016, you give us each a GMC Sierra, we will absolutely make sure that every single SP Space Symposium starts off with sponsored by GMC Sierra. We'll just make that happen. I can offer that right now.
And I will wear a GMC Sierra trucker hat every time we're on the air.
All right, now that we have broken SP's train of thought, SP, continue.
Let's go back to the Rossi satellite, which weighs as much as a 2017 GMC Sierra. And its orbit right now is almost completely circular at 235 miles high. And it's at an inclination of 22.98 degrees, which means it was launched directly to the east out of Cape Canaveral Space Center, which was oddly where the SpaceX Falcon 9 exploded earlier this week. So there you go. Now, this is from the nasa.gov website about the Rossi. So I'm just going to read this verbatim. It says, the Rossi X-Ray Timing Explorer satellite provided unprecedented information into the extreme environments around white dwarfs, neutron stars, black holes, and other X-ray emitting objects. Over 16 years of operation, RXTE far exceeded its original science goals and has left astronomers with a scientific bounty that will serve them for years to come. The observatory's instruments measured variations in X-ray emissions on timescales as short as microseconds and as long as months across a wide energy span from 2,000 to 250,000 electron volts. For comparison, the energy of a typical dental X-ray is around 60,000 electron volts. So there you go. After 16 years of operation so far, the scientific highlights, it has inspired over 2,200 scientific papers and 92 direct doctoral theses. Some of the scientific contributions, discoveries from the Rossi is it located the M82 X1 black hole. It measured the size of the smallest known black hole to date, and that was back in 2008. And it determined X-ray diffuse background of the Milky Way was caused by undetected white dwarf stars. So we're discovering more about just our own galaxy, not even the universe. So that is all cool. And an entire list is on the nasa.gov website of all the great scientific discoveries that have been made. Now, it had an end of life where it's no longer being functioned back in 2012. Its re-entry, because it is in a low Earth orbit, is expected sometime, and this was a report a few years ago, between 2014 and 2023. So it could be falling on Steven right now. Steven, get your bunker. Get your bunker right now. Go, run,
Duck
run,
and
run,
cover.
run. So there you go. That is all the great things that have happened from the Rossi X-Ray Timing Explorer, named after a guy that created the Hulk. And we're going to stake that claim right here on the GetAGeek.com show.
Hulk smash.
Wow. Who would have thought that space had so much in common with fictitious Marvel Universe?
It's all based on real science and magnets.
That's true. You are the Hulk after all.
No, I'm not the Hulk. I'm Captain America. I mean...
Well, thank you very much for that, SB. And I will say this. Anytime that you want to figure out a way to get us product placement by sponsorship by GMC Sierra, you can absolutely do that in SP Space Symposium.
That's cool. So next time I come on for this SP Space Symposium, we will all be proud owners of 2017 GMC Sierras, paid for and donated by GMC as promotional products for promoting GMC on the podcast. And also we will continue our delving into other X-ray observing satellites.
All right. Well, maybe we'll have to get Suncast on here and get a bit of advice on sponsorship. So thank you very much, though.
Screw
seriously.
that. He's going to take our GMC Sierras. No.
That's true. By the way, I've been sleeping on a Casper mattress recently. No, I'm just kidding.
I think Chris is looking into some hair growth product too.
No.
Actually, I want to talk to you guys all about my audible.com subscription that I have.
Well, thank you. Seriously. Thank you very much for that. And I want to mention something here that we don't often get to say. And it's that SP, he does the research on these things himself. But here's the thing. SP is actually a big fan of satellites. And if you ever want to just hit him up and just talk about these with him, a lot of this is stuff he's already known. And I'm sure you probably check your facts a little bit before you do the segment, but I know a lot of these facts are already up in the SP brain. And it's just something that if you enjoy this sort of stuff, hit him up, because SP is a huge fan of this stuff. And that's where this segment originated from.
That's right. I've always liked space and true space from a long, long time. I do have advanced degrees in astronautical engineering, so I literally am a rocket scientist. Yes, go ahead. GonnaGeek.com drinking game.
Oh, sorry, I got a drink.
Yeah. And I just love the space stuff. And I've been keeping track of this stuff for a very long time. And satellites, probes, space vehicles, anything to do with science of space, even the particle accelerators that Stephen was joking about before, like at CERN or Fermi or the Super Collider down in Texas, those sorts of things I've kept track on. So yes, would love to talk to anybody about them. The one person I will refuse to talk to is Neil deGrasse Tyson, because he killed Pluto.
I'm sorry.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, you can come talk to Steven and I. We'll talk to you whenever you want.
I was going to say, Neil, if you want to come on the show, if he's not willing to be here, I'll bump him off. That's okay. You know what? I'll bump him off. So
we'll have Neil's Space Symposium one week if SP doesn't want to be on for that one. That's okay.
If you want to get into ruining all the great movies that you have watched within the past few years, go ahead, have him on.
Well, thank you again. And just a friendly reminder before we do close up shop here that we are part of the Gonna Geek Network. And also on the Gonna Geek Network is a wonderful show called Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. And with Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., they do stream live to geeks.live. Now, why do you want to really pay attention to that subject and that URL, geeks.live? Because they have been one of the shows which, since Blab went bye-bye, they've been experimenting with some different platforms of streaming, and they tried Fire Talk a little bit, and they're probably going to maybe make a transition to another one. And absolutely make sure you do go to geeks.live, because that will always get you to wherever Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is streaming live. They do stream on Wednesdays. Isn't that right, Stargate Pioneer?
Yes, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast does stream when I'm around, apparently, because when I'm not around, nobody else knows how to do it. Stream live to geeks.live. Last week, of course, they weren't streamed. We did put out a podcast that was recorded offline, but normally it's 9 p.m. Eastern on geeks.live. We've always promoted geeks.live. We're the predecessor, gonnageek.com/live on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we stream to because it is our landing page. So yes, as things shift in the video streaming broadcast world, you can go ahead and always find us at geeks.live. And then also with that, we are just ending our summer watch into Daredevil. So getting ready for that October premiere or late September premiere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I almost said Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. again. So pay attention. We talk everything Marvel on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., but specifically Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's our first love. And then we will be delving into that soon. So stay tuned, everybody. It is awesome.
Awesome. Chris, you got anything you want to plug or promote before we do wrap it up here?
Sure, guys. Make sure you go check out all the other podcasts that are on the Gonna Geek Network over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. We've got, I think, 18 different podcasts now. And we've got just about a little bit of everything to tickle whatever your geek fancy is. So check it out there. If you find a show that you love, that's great. If there's a show you think should be there that you do, go to GonnaGeek.com/join. We're always looking for some new members to join the network. I can speak English tonight, guys. I swear.
SP, you got anything you want to promote?
Yeah, I do. I want to promote the 2017 GMC Sierra. I would like the crew cab and the 6.5 foot bed, please. And I would like it in a kind of a maroon color, 4x4, of course, and the big V8. So thank you very much. But seriously, guys, aside from that, you won't hopefully hear about the GMC Sierra anymore on GetAGeek.com. We'll see. But
blasphemy. They're going to hear about it every week once we get them.
I know. I hear that. So there is a lot of great stuff going on. The fall is upon us. There is a ton of stuff happening on the GonnaGeek.com network. There are podcasts about movies. There's podcasts about TV shows. The entire DC slate of shows should be on later in October. And there is great. PopX is a great new podcast that has come on. Love the in-depth research that Joe does on there. And then the in-depth stuff that Kier does over on In Defense Of. That's great. And oh, by the way, Doctor Who will be coming back shortly in 2017. We have a Doctor Who podcast on the network, Gallifrey Public Radio. If you have a podcast that is geeky related and you think you want to be part of this great podcast network that Steven has, go find us at GonnaGeek.com/join and sign up to be part of the GonnaGeek.com network.
That's awesome. And the last thing that I want to mention here is that Chris Ferrell, you have done a terrific job of making me buy things that I didn't know that I needed to buy. And I'll just tease that I went and mine wasn't even on sale. Mine was full Canadian price. I bought myself a Wink Hub. So now I'm playing with that. Bought that just before I went on vacation. And it's exciting for me. I like it. And it actually works really good for this video setup that I do. And I'll have to make a couple other changes, buy some more bulbs in the future. But absolutely, I'm really, really enjoying it. And the other thing that I should mention really quickly here is that SP and I are part of a podcast called Better Podcasting. And we premiered on Better Podcasting a segment that I did. Well, there was a microphone shootout, and this microphone shootout featured the 6 microphones that are behind me, and it is a blind test, and I'm still looking for people to chime in. So please just take the few minutes to go to geeks.link/shootout and listen to the clip, and please do chime in your feedback, tweet me, email me, whatever. There is a survey on there. Only the first 4 questions are mandatory. The questions are, which microphone do you like and why? And which microphone do you most dislike and why? So just give me your feedback on them. Absolutely want to know which of these microphones you like and which you don't. And then I will reveal towards the end of the month whether or not, or which microphone was which. That is going to take us to the end of episode 160 of the official GonnaGeek.com show. I'm Stephen Jondrew saying, Chris, you make me spend my money.
I'm Chris Ferrell, and I make people buy stuff, and they love it.
And I'm Stargate Pioneer, a known alien to the country of Canada.
Bye.
Thanks for checking out another episode of the GonnaGeek.com show. If you enjoyed it, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes or a thumbs up on YouTube. We encourage you to send your feedback by email to show@GonnaGeek.com. You can find our entire archive at GonnaGeek.com/show. And while you're there, why not check out all of the other geeky content on the Gonna Geek Network? Want to chime into our live chat? Join us Mondays at 8:45 p.m. Eastern at www.geeks.live. The music heard on this show is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. This show was produced and edited by Stephen Jondrew of Gonna Geek Productions. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.